What's up? What's up? What's up? You have joined the iDads podcast. I'm your host, Matt Wise, and I'm always with my host, my co-host, my brother from another mother, Erik Alvarez.
How you
Erik,
doing,
what's
Matt?
going on, man?
Nothing much. We're just here another week, ready to roll with the Valentine's week podcast for
We
everybody.
we did it. We survived a week. I'll tell you,
Yeah.
it was it was the week of all weeks for me. Um, if you don't, if you can't notice, if you haven't noticed, if you don't notice, if you don't have eyeballs, Erik, um, so dumb. I'm such a dork. If you don't have eyeballs, though, you can see behind me. My wife typically decorates for every season, and this being the season and the month of love and Valentine's Day. Some may say it looks like Valentine's Day threw up in my house because of all the decorations. I love it. The kids love it. My wife loves it, and that's all that matters. As long as my wife likes it, I'm good with it. If my expectation is I'm gonna have a poster of Barry Sanders up in my living room, um, I had to throw that dream away. So as you can see, we got Valentine's Day. How was your Valentine's Day, man?
I mean, you could just imagine with I have three women in the house. Okay, Valentine's is celebrated in this house. As you can see, I mean, just the love everywhere. From makeup to candy to flowers to, I mean, pretty much everything around the house. So kudos to you, and with all the decorations, I mean, it really looks good, and it shows that you're a big lovable kind of guy, so
Well,
your wife
well,
must be happy.
well. Of course, I am. I am a lovable teddy bear, and anybody will tell you that. Don't let this facade, or this mean, mean facade fool you. I'm just a lovable teddy bear. Don't give me any credit. My wife does all the decorating in the house. That's plain and simple. I don't decorate a thing. I just hang it where she asks for it to be hung. That's my job. So it's tough for you. Three women in the household. That's triple, the chocolates, triple the flowers. It's going to be, it's so weird how Valentine's Day kids get gifts. Did your kids get gifts?
Yes, I actually I bought them the C's candies, little hearts, chocolates and stuff like that. Created a little basket with a balloon, and I mean, my 3-year-old, she was just so excited just to open up the little basket I gave them. So they were both happy. So we gave them some chocolates and some stuff like that, just the normal
See, and that's
Valentine's
why
stuff.
that's why you're a good iDad, because you actually got both your kids something for Valentine's Day.
Did you forget?
No, I didn't forget. I plain flat out didn't buy them anything. They don't need more candy. They don't need more little toys, junk to just be all over the house. So, I let the grandparents and the aunts and uncles spoil them with, and my grandmother, so their great grandmother. We went over there, gave them a gift. Being the season of love, and my grandmother being a widow, we went over there and took a flower and some stuff to her, to help her celebrate Valentine's Day at a distance, of course, because we're quarantining and we don't want to get her sick. But
Nice, nice.
that's what we did. So
That's yeah. I mean, we didn't do much. Like I said, for Valentine's Day, we with the wifey, we got kind of had the mother-in-law, take over babysitting for a little while we had dinner. We had a nice little romantic dinner, just pretty much kind of discussing everything, how our life has been, the love for our kids and stuff like that. I mean, it was a really good, interesting conversation. I mean, once you're married for quite some time, I mean, your conversations are a lot different. And that's kind of where our connection, we kind of dedicate Valentine's Day to kind of connect a little bit more with each other and connect how we want to, portray our love towards our kids as well. So, I mean, it was really good bonding between me and my wife on Valentine's Day.
and that's, I mean, that's exactly what it's about, because because Valentine's Day has become so commercialized, and everybody's trying to slang you some kind of product to give your significant other, or to give your kids, or whatever's going on. Excuse me. That's what Valentine's Day is really about. And the longer you're married, the more you learn that it's not necessarily about the gifts, and it's actually becomes a time of reflection. For me, for Valentine's Day, Friday, I came home from work. I was dead dog tired from the work week, and I was ready for Valentine's Day weekend, to be quite honest. We had gone out, and I got my wife some gifts. I was super stoked for it. And as soon as I walked in the door Friday afternoon, she goes, "Can we talk?" And I go, it was one of those moments where I wish I was Zach Morris from Saved by the Bell, and I could have just went time out, and she would have froze. And then I could have just fast forwarded the day to later in the evening and just kind of gloss over the fact that she wanted to talk. But it was important, and it was a great talk. Some of the same things, just talking about our history, where we've come from, where we've come in our relationship, where we are now. And really, like you said, hit the nail on the head with it, is how can we display the kind of loving relationship that a couple should have? How can we display that to our kids? And are we doing a good job of that every day of the week, other than just Valentine's Day? Correct. And so that's, and that conversation started Friday, and it went into Saturday, and I was starting to get really concerned that not that it was going to become a big problem, but that I would do what I usually do and say something stupid. And by saying one thing stupid and not realizing that my words mean something, ruined the whole Valentine's Day weekend. And I'm so proud of myself. I didn't do that. So that is a huge iDads win. And we had a great Valentine's Day. We just binge watched The Matrix, which I've never seen before. And that was super dope. My mind was blown by The Matrix. Not so much Keanu Reeves. That's why my wife wanted to watch it, because she has a unhealthy crush on Keanu Reeves. So Keanu Reeves, if you're listening, shout out. Felicia's got a mad crush on you.
Wow. That's good. The Matrix, Neo. Would you take, the blue pill or the red pill for Valentine's Day? It looks like you took the red pill.
I took the pill that just that movie blew my mind. And you know what? And there's just so much, like we just talked about Valentine's Day and it not being a superficial holiday, right? Not just being about, the superficial mushy love, but about being something with substance and deep, right? That movie is deep. That movie had substance. My mind was sufficiently blown. And I will never be the same. I'm a different man. I stand before you a different man.
Well, we'll see when you see the John Wick movies then. Have you seen those?
I've seen those. Those were great movies for me as a dude, like tons of killing, tons of guns, like super cool guns, special effects. Like my boy Josh O'Kani always makes fun of me. Like he says, like, I'm not a really good critic of movies. Like if there's not one explosion and a head injury in the movie, then it's really not a movie that I'm going to enjoy. And I think he's making fun of my intellect, that I can't appreciate a fine movie such as The Matrix. And I proved him wrong this weekend. I am a Matrix fan.
Just need your sunglasses then.
And that's the thing about the movie too. If you recognize, like, did they have a special fitting for sunglasses for that movie? Morpheus has those sunglasses that just sit so perfectly right there on the, like, dope. Those are dope. You always say, "Hey Matt, you got some dope sunglasses." I'm meant to be in the Matrix then.
There you go, Neil.
Why not? Have you seen The Matrix?
Yes.
So this isn't something new to you.
I saw it when it was in VHS. I actually bought the VHS.
VHS. What is that?
Oh yeah, right. We got to clarify what VHS.
VHS.
Those VHS tapes.
I can't even find a VHS player. I got a ton of sports movies of myself, of course, being an only child. My parents recorded everything I did, and especially when it came to athletics. And so I got a ton of videos, and I've been dying to watch them and at least show my kid, like, hey, check out how dope your dad was playing soccer. Check out,
I think you better look over those couple swings that you did. I mean, if you're striking out, it's not a good thing to show your son,
Oh, listen.
Okay.
I hope,
Okay.
listen, I hope none of my kids from Little League are listening. But if you are, Coach Matt was a terrible, terrible batter. It's the hardest thing to do in sports is to hit a fastball. I was terrible. And I was so terrible that every time I struck out, I went and I cried. And that's one of the things that I work with these kids on, because I know how devastating they feel striking out. And I'm always trying to remind them, like, it's okay. You have 3 more at bats or 2 more at bats. Like, striking out is part of the game. I was terrible at batting, but you know what? I was a beast on the field defensively. I was a Omar Vizquel at shortstop, or just a beast at third base. I was all-star defense, couldn't hit worth a lick.
Let's look at the VHSs.
Let
me be the judge.
All right, you talk all that smack, but I hear you played soccer, and I'm sure there's some footage floating around out there, and I'm sure I can coax some people. In fact, I do have some footage of you doing some stuff that I might be sharing with our friends who like to listen and tune into our show.
I got 2 left feet. I can tell you that right off the bat. No shame on that.
You weren't dancing. You were singing, brother.
Oh, singing. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I actually do. I sing. I don't know if I ever told you, but I do sing. I sing once in a while, especially with my uncles. I play in I mean, when you grow up with your uncles, strict uncles, Mexican uncles, I mean, they expect certain things from you. They expect you to, if they play the guitar, they want you to play the guitar. And that's kind of what I'm what I was doing at that point. I mean, of course, the uncles, they push you to do certain things that you're like, dude, I didn't even know I could sing. But it's part of the culture that they push us to. If my uncles are playing the guitar, you're gonna learn, and they'll hand over the guitar, and they're yelling at you halfway there when it's your first time even having the guitar in your hand, and they'll still be criticizing and telling you that you can do it, and they expect you to learn another song by the next time they come over to visit.
That's dope, and that's one of the things I love about the Mexican culture, is how encouraging they are. Even when you suck or you mess up. I mean, me trying to speak Spanish is terrible. Nobody wants to hear it, but every time I did, like, that culture would just come up beside you and said, keep trying, keep practicing, keep doing it. You can do it. Hey, white boy, you got this, Weddle, you got this, white boy, you can do it. Like, and I appreciated that. And it made me want to try that much harder. So I could see you as the next country star from the East Side, San Jose, singing country music.
That's the kind of love that the uncles displayed. That's the kind of love by pushing you, by telling you that you sound good when you sound, I mean, I wouldn't want to hear it. Let's put it that way. But, there's the uncles that support you, that love and care for you, that kind of push you to be your best. You got family members, your mom, dad. Even though we suck, they support us and they love us for that. And that's something I wanted to ask you, Matt. I mean, what is love to you? Now we're talking about Valentine's Day. What is love to you? What does it mean for you? And how would you, pass this on to your kids?
Wow, that's a great question. It's what me and my wife were talking about. And love is a lot of things. Love is kind. Love is being patient. Love is communicating. Love is messy. Love is hard. Love is work. The best book I ever read was the advice that my pastor gave my wife and I when we were going through marriage counseling, and he gave us a book to read, which was Love is a Decision. And I think he gave it to us because, when you're a young couple and you're first in love, it's feelings, right? Like, oh, I love you so much. Oh, you're so beautiful. Oh, your hair, like everything is amazing about that person. And you find everything about that person just compelling. And it's what makes you, it's that feeling of love. That's why you fall in love with them, because you can't stop thinking about them. And he gave us a book to read because I think he saw that we were in that mushy love, right? It was
The
the
butterflies in the
oh,
stomach.
the what?
The little butterflies in the
The
stomach.
butterflies in the stomach, the baby talk on the
Baby
phone,
talk.
oh baby, schmoopy poopy, like just the silliness that you do when you're in love. And he said, hey, you guys read this book. And it was Love is a Decision. And it really talks about, the nitty gritty of love, and um that there's going to be times in our marriage where we're not going to feel loving towards our wives. And there's times in the marriage where I guarantee you my wife has not felt loving towards me. But even when you feel that way, love is making the decision to love that person, regardless of how you feel at that point in time. Now, I'm not saying to discredit your own feelings, but what I am saying is, is love sometimes is just simply making the decision. I'm going to wake up and I'm going to love my wife with everything that I have today, whether that's 90%, 80%, 110%. That's what I'm going to do. And for me, that's been a game changer for the definition of love. I know that's not a great definition of love, because definition of love is unconditional love and forgiveness and, all those things.
See, for me, Matt, I think love. I think when you're talking about a relationship, I think it's more of a. I see it as more as falling in love. I mean, this is a conversation. I guess my brother and his wife came over the weekend as well. We had dinner. We kind of talked. We touched a little bit about what love was, and one of the things that I came up with is when you're in love. I mean, I think it's more of falling in love. Because when you meet two strangers, yes, there's the butterflies, there's a baby talk, yes, there's some connection, but really love, a deeper love, I think it's more like falling in love. And when I mean falling in love is meaning you're gonna fall flat on your face. It's gonna hurt. For the people out there listening, I think love and loving someone else is giving yourself to that other person, and that's something I have a little bit of trouble doing, is giving myself 100% to my wife. It could be either from fear, for being too, in the Mexican culture, being too girly like, or maybe too caring for your wife. There's a certain expectation that the man should be the one in control, which that's not the case. I mean, true love, real love is giving yourself up for the other person. And that's kind of what the challenges that I'm dealing with, with in a relationship with my wife, and we constantly, work at it. I try to, give my 100% to her, and to my kids and stuff like that. And that's kind of what I think is love is giving up, you're giving yourself up for somebody else. It's not buying the Louis Vuitton, to show love. I mean, that's just materialistic. That's just a status that you want to, they want to portray, and that's fine. I'll give my wife some stuff so she can put in her status, Instagram and stuff like that. That's fine. But the true love is, when I show up for her when she needs me, when I encourage her, when I know that I take care of her, I cook for her. I mean, all this other things that money can't really buy is kind of where, where that love really connection comes in. And I'm a strong believer of falling in love rather than just love out of nowhere. Because you give up yourself, and then that's hard for any person to put somebody else before yourself. It is a little difficult, and that's what I see. And hopefully the other partner gives their 100% as well, and that's usually how the connection would work.
100%. It's a two-way street, right?
Yeah.
I mean, And we can get into ruts, different points in the relationships where one person gives more than the other, and that's what it's about. I mean, that's what a relationship's about, is that other person being able to fill that void where you're just down and out, where you're struggling, where you're having a hard time. My wife said probably uh, the best thing to me in the last 2 weeks, and she said, what I love more than anything about our relationship is like, you have always been and you will always be my best friend. And that, like, that really hit me in the heart, because it's not like I was expecting her to say, like, because you are the most attractive man I ever seen. It's not, I definitely wasn't expecting that. Or, you are the most intelligent individual I have ever talked to. Like, I wasn't expecting that, but for her to say, like, you have always been, will always be my best friend. Like, yo, I got a place in her heart that nobody else can touch.
Yep.
And that's special. And she has the same for me. And that's what love is. And love is accepting one another for their flaws and faults, and working around them if you can. If you can't, that's something you should have figured out beforehand.
Right.
But
and that's the thing is, I mean, a lot of people are afraid to fall in love, and they do not give their 100% to the other person. And is it because they've been hurt in the past? Is it because, for our, like, our culture, or at least in my situation, our family, there wasn't really love and affection really displayed with my mom and dad. They were really more reserved to behind closed doors than really showing that affection and that love. So I need to change that, so that way I know that my daughters do get a really good husband, or, and they're able to provide that love that the other person needs. And it's falling in love. We need to work at it every day for our wives. So all the iDads listening out there, make sure you do your best you can to give your 100%. I mean, get off your truck and go buy her some flowers for Valentine's Day. Get off and do that extra thing for her, because that's the little things that matter, that'll make her fall in love again every single day.
listen, I challenged myself before Valentine's Day that I was going to do the one thing that the one thing in our marriage that I just don't like doing. And we all have that thing, right? Whatever it is, whether it's doing the dishes or the laundry or cleaning the toilets or putting the kids to bed or whatever your chore is, right? Um, my wife, she loves a good foot massage. She loves a nice back massage. And she, it's not good enough that I'm willing to give her a foot massage. Like, she wants lotion. And here's the thing. You and I were at Home Depot the other day, and we used that hand sanitizer that they had that was aloe. And I kid you not, we both walked around Home Depot because I was watching you, and we were just standing there going, gosh, stuff stuck to my hands. You know what I mean? And that's what lotion's like. It's a miserable experience. It's not a good time. If you look at me and you see ashy hands and ashy knuckles and ashy elbows, I don't care. I don't like lotion. I really don't. But I made a deal. I was like, and I told her, I said, for the next week, I'm going to give you 5 minutes a day where I'm going to massage your foot or your back with lotion. Like, that was the caveat to it. That was the big point where I was making a point, and I'm going to do it for the next week, 5 minutes a day. I'm going to massage with lotion. And I did that before Valentine's Day because it's, like you said, it's doing those things. It's finding those ways to make an impact in our marriages with our wives. And we feel better. I feel better. I feel better when I do things for other people. I feel better when I go out of the way and do something special for my wife. In fact, I feel so good that I can't ever contain it. Like, as soon as I do it, I want to just call her and be like, hey, look what I did, and that's kind of not the point.
but you know what, man, one thing, just kind of going off a little bit on my wife, when we first got together, it was our first year together. She she wanted to show her love, or she wanted to appreciate me by cutting the toenails, man.
Bro,
I
are
can't
you
do
serious?
that. I can't do that. I
Bro,
told her,
are you serious? That's bro. I've been.
couldn't.
Oh my dude, this is gonna sound weird, but okay. My wife, God bless my wonderful wife, when we first got married, used to take off my socks and put my socks on. And I guarantee if I would have asked her to cut my toenails, she would have done it. A gem. Like, you find a wife that will cut your toenails, like, that is a keeper for life. So while you're complaining about it, I'm telling you, you're tripping. But my wife used to do those things, and I loved it. And until we went to church, and some of the ladies in the church found out that my wife was doing that behavior. No, I haven't had it since. I can't. To those wonderful women that used to go to my church, thank you, but no thank you. You've ruined my life and my marriage.
And your toes.
I like to thank you for staying out of my business, but and my toes would too. Yeah, my long toenails would like some attention. So the fact that your wife would cut your toenails like willingly, gem.
I just, it's like, dude, you cannot touch these claws. I said, no, you can't. We were gonna go get some pedicures. I'll pay for them. But she wants to, and she always volunteers. Like, look, I'll clean up your toenails. I'll massage your feet.
Acts of service. If you ever get, I don't know if you've ever read it. If you've ever read it, you haven't. It's called The 7 Love Languages. It's another book. Listen, I'm not throwing these books out there like I'm some kind of book expert. Like, I'm like, this is iDads book club, or Set 5 Love Languages is the name of the book. It's a great book, and it talks about that. Like, your wife's doing things like she's acts of service like that. And if that's not your love language, then it may be a waste of time.
No.
Listen, I don't know if we could strike a deal where my wife would be okay with it and your wife would be okay with it. But my toenails are looking a little shabby. And if your wife really wants to cut toenails, I could be over there this weekend. That's all I'm saying.
Hey, but I got the chainsaw. I got the skill saw ready for you. I think I might need to help her with all those claws that you got going on.
Relax, bro. Relax.
But you know what, Matt? It's just something that makes me a little uncomfortable. I just don't. It just makes me feel. I know she's doing it, to make me feel better. To maybe to clean my toenails. I don't know. Maybe to make.
There's nothing. That's like
there's some funk coming out of my.
Historically, there's like that's the biggest sign of respect. Historically,
in the Bible,
biblically in the Bible, they would wash people's feet. Like, they would like that was what a servant would do, is like, and they would want to wash your feet, or which is insane. Like, I don't want to touch anybody else. I don't even want to. That's the problem, Eric. I don't want to touch my own feet, let alone anyone else's feet. But I'm cool if someone wants to clip my toenails.
Yeah. I'm gonna give in one of these days. I'll let you know how it goes, and I'll send you a picture of those nice little shiny toenails. But let me ask you a question: if you get your toenails done, do you put polish on them?
Bro, never. Never. I have never once. Not once.
Okay.
I've had maybe a pedicure 3 or 4, like a handful of times in my life. I'm just
not that guy. So you're not that guy at the gym with the shiny toenails.
I'm not built that way. I'm not that dude. I'm a grinder. I'm a dirty scrapper. Like, if my fingernails ain't dirty, then I'm not doing life right. That's my motto. So you can keep the pedicures and the manis for yourself. I'm good.
Oh man,
I can't pay for it. That's the only thing. Like, I don't want to pay for someone else to touch my feet.
But nowadays with all the restrictions, I mean, I'm looking at my wife like, you know what? You better get the nail clippers ready, because these toenails are not cutting themselves. So
it's about time. Yeah, you can't. I mean, we're growing the COVID beards, right?
Yep.
Please, iDads, please don't be growing the COVID toenails. Okay. It's not the look. It's not the business. It's not the way we should be representing ourselves as iDads. So please, if you haven't cut your toenails during quarantine, I urge you. I condone you. I condone you. I implore you. Please find yourself a woman like Eric's wife that will clip your toenails. So ridiculous. Hey, Eric, we come up to it. We've did it. We did it. We got another episode in the books. Again, it feels like sitting back, just chopping up with you, chit chatting. I hope those out there that are listening, that are watching on YouTube, if you like what you heard, if you appreciate any of the advice, or maybe the advice is terrible, if there's anything you could take from it, anything at all, go cop a book, 5 Love Languages, Love is a Decision, Eric's manual on
toenails,
toenails, on how to keep a wife happy for 7 years. We appreciate you. We appreciate you watching. We appreciate you listening. If you are, please make sure to hit that like button and subscribe. We will be back next week. Eric's going on vacation, but we'll still be doing the show from the road. For Eric, he's got to just kind of get away a little bit during this lockdown, this COVID. So, Eric, my brother.
Thank you, Matt. Appreciate it. Another episode. We're ready to go for next week. We'll log in and see how our vacation went.
We'll get it done. I am excited to hear a little bit about your vacation. I want you to take some pictures. Maybe we'll throw some pictures up in next week's show. So take some pictures of some funny things that jump out on you on your travels. For those listening, again, thank you for joining us. You're listening to the iDads podcast. I'm your host, Matt. That's my co-host, Eric. We appreciate you listening. We appreciate you hanging with us. Till next time. Not to mention, before I forget, we've got a great guest on the 28th. We'll be recording with my man, Chris Parks. So get ready for that. Listen, we got our iPads. We got our iPhones. We got our iMacs. We got our iTunes. It's everything. Get a little iDads in your life. You just listen to iDads podcast. We appreciate you. Peace.